Hey guys, Brian with Passion for Peppers. Today we're going to talk a little bit about actually planting the peppers. Last video I did, we talked a little bit about the setup here, what I got going. But today we want to move right into planting peppers. So, come on. So I went ahead and went through some of the seeds I have and laid out what I want to plant this year. A decent variety, not as many as we have planted in the past, but a good variety, as you can see. And we'll do another video where we talk more about these. I can show you how I kind of organize them and whatnot. But today, just wanted to jump right in and show you how to plant. All right, so kind of set up a table here with my seeds, my laptop, which I make an Excel sheet that kind of has all my peppers organized, what I'm doing, and we'll go over that at another time. And then I've also got the other supplies I need. I use a fork, of all things, some tweezers to help with handling the seeds, and then this is what we will be planting the peppers in. So first thing, I will get some hot water here. I like to use warm water. I don't know that it necessarily really matters, but okay, so you can see this is what they look like dried out. What I'm going to do is add some water in here. These will tend to want to float, of all things, but we'll add some water here and give it some time. And those will expand. This will take a minute or two here to expand up. We'll want them to be fully soaked in. All that water will absorb into those. And then once we do that, we can start planting. All right. So you can see that these had swollen up, absorbed the water. So I slowly continue to add water until they really quit absorbing the water. So I'm going to take this excess water and actually go ahead and drain it off. And so now I've got these all ready. So now moving over to seeds, I'm going to grab my first seed that I'll plant. And again, this kind of goes in order of how I organize everything. And this is KS White Tie. That's King Star White Tie. If you want to know more about him, great information out there. You can look that up. So my Jiffy Pods here, they're all swollen up. This is tray A. So I'm going to start with A1. I am actually looking just to have one of these plants this year in total. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and at this point plant 2 pods with the hopes that at least one of them will make it to the point where I can plant it. I usually have much higher success than that, but it's just kind of a little insurance for me. So what I'll do is I'll take this pod, and they actually have opened at the top to where you can get at that peat there. And I just kind of loosen it up a little bit here, get that, and I'm gonna end up dropping a couple seeds in there. Again, just overdoing it, but it's easier to get them growing now and cut back later. So anyway, I'll go through and I'm gonna go ahead and just prep all these real quick so they're all ready to plant here. We've got all the Jiffy Pods prepped and ready now for seed. So I'm gonna go ahead again and take my first seed here, and I like to just dump it out on a piece of paper here. Again, these are seeds I've saved from previous years, and actually this one's rather old. It's 2022 and we're here in 2026. But you'd be surprised at how well these still will germinate if you take good care of storing these. I store mine in the refrigerator year round, so I found that helps preserve them. And so I like to dump them out, and I look through the seeds. I've got plenty here, so I'm looking for the best seeds that look good to me. And I'm just gonna simply delicately pick that up with these tweezers, and I'm gonna go right on over and drop it in my first cell here. And I'm gonna go a little haywire here and do 2 in each pod. Again, 1 is probably fine, but I'm making sure I've got good odds of something germinating in all of these. And you may be wondering why I'm using tweezers, and to be honest, it's pretty straightforward. These little seeds are hard to pick up one by one individually, and if you're real careful with the tweezers, you can do that. Still be delicate with them without breaking the seeds, but pick them up one by one, kind of sort through them and pick out what you want. as well as these seeds still have some capsaicin oil on them, which is the hot stuff. And so by using tweezers, I can keep that off my fingers, and ultimately my face, my arm, my kids, whatever it be, I can help keep from burning myself. So first two, those are the, so I'm looking for one. So first two are there. I'm going to go ahead and just barely cover up that seed. I'm not looking to mash it down in there. You still want the soil to stay pretty loose, but just give it a little bit of coverage here. And just like that, the first two are done. So next I'm done with this seed, so I'll go ahead and put it back in my bag, and I can save that again. Next one I've got here is King Star Starscream Orange. It's a pretty neat pepper as well. So this one's going to be my third position here. I'm going to drop 2 seeds in, and grab 2 more here. Yeah, this Starscream Orange, I've enjoyed it. And then again, we'll just cover them up. Again, gently. You don't need a lot of excess dirt on there, but just want some coverage. Can't be afraid to get your fingers a little dirty. All right, going on to the next one here, Aji Lemon Drop. So I'm just going to keep working through my Excel list of all the planning that I've done for what peppers I want. And I will work through these again. Being delicate with the seeds. I've seen a lot of people do different things with their seeds, and I don't do anything special with them. I just let water and dirt do its thing. Here we go. We got the first tray, tray 1. Got all these planted. Again, these Jiffy plugs here, they are all nice and moist. The tray's got a little weight to it because it's soaked up all that water. We're going to put the top on this little greenhouse. Make sure it's on there good and sealed. That helps hold the moisture in there. And now, simply going to place it in the greenhouse here on the heat mat and let it do its thing. We've got 6 more trays yet we'll plant over the next couple days here. And pepper season's off and going. All right, so we've got all of our peppers planted. Gonna place the last tray in the greenhouse here. Got the lids on them. You can see some of the other ones. The moisture is already condensing on there. That's a great thing. Want to make sure the lids stay on, and now they're ready. We just wait, they're ready. And now that we've got them in the greenhouse, one thing, we'll check in on them every few days here just to make sure that they still got moisture. The condensation on the lids is a great sign. Once you kind of aren't seeing that, add a little moisture in there, make sure they're staying nice and moist. You don't want them too wet. You just want it to be moist in there, no standing water at the bottom of these. So we'll check in them every few days here, and again, hopefully in a week we'll see some plants sprouting. So got the heat mat set to 80 degrees, and we'll give them time. Hopefully within 10 to 14 days, we've got a lot of peppers sprouting. Check us out again. I'll show you on another video. I'll get the lights set up and ready. We don't need them yet, but we'll go ahead and get those set up. And eventually we'll be transplanting these into some cups, and then later on to the garden. So thanks for joining us. Passion for Peppers. Follow along on our journey. Thanks.